Hey, what's up guys? It's Enigma Hood. So the topic of discussion today is, should businesses or the government provide free birth control to people? Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the recent Supreme Court ruling on this matter regarding whether businesses should be allowed to do it. But actually, it's not about that precisely. It's more about the religious excuse. The court found in a split decision, and they won only by one vote, that businesses are allowed to deny certain types of health care due to religious reasons. But apparently they're narrowing the limit to what they can deny to simply birth control. And, you know, I had mixed feelings about this because I disagree with the religious reasons for it. But the essence of what's going on here is denying whether or not businesses should pay for birth control under healthcare. That I, at least initially, didn't have a problem with, although that might change, but I'll get to that later. Now, the reason for why I don't have a problem with that is because my opinion about birth control is that it is frivolous in nature. Now, the reasons for the Supreme Court ruling, it should have never been about religion. That it's always a disaster whenever you mix religion with laws. In a perfect world, in a utopia where religion is 100% correct and 100% moral, then there would be absolutely no problem with mixing religion and laws. Clearly, that's not the case. Like other people pointed out, under religious laws, you should be allowed to stone non-virgin girls. You should be allowed to burn witches. You should be allowed to kill homosexuals. These are religious laws in Christianity. So clearly, there is a disconnect between morality and how our country should be run and religious law. So I disagree with that vehemently. But the question of whether or not healthcare should provide birth control is something that initially I was completely against, but now, you know, I'm being kind of swayed by some opinions. I was discussing this issue in the comment section of one of the Young Turks videos where they were talking about this, and I just voiced my opinion, and there was a huge discussion, and I actually got into, little bit of a scuffle with quite a few users. One of which is WilbergWBWW, and she took some of my remarks to heart and was offended by some of the things I was saying, which I can understand to a certain degree because, women's rights, just like any other kinds of rights that we have for anything else, whether it's equal rights for homosexuals or equal rights for other races or animal rights, you become deeply emotionally invested in it. And of course, it's almost impossible to separate out your emotions from the logic, rationality of the situation. So I get it. And we worked through our differences and came to a common understanding. And she actually made some good points. Now, here's my thing, though. I do consider birth control to be frivolous in nature because it is providing medicine for a desire. Now, sex, non-reproductive sex, is not a necessity. It's not a physiological need. It's not something that you have to have. So providing medicine for that, in my opinion, is frivolous because it's not a necessity. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I believe that all human beings, when they're born, deserve to have life and deserve to be happy. The problem is that we don't currently live in a society that has infinite resources that we can provide both of these things to everyone. At best, we can provide the first one, or at least try our best to at least first meet the basal physiological needs that everyone needs in order to live. In in a utopian society where we have infinite resources, we can make everyone happy, and I do believe that everyone deserves to be happy and do what they want to do. And if having sex makes them happy, then hey, have at it. But we don't live in a society that has infinite resources. So when we try to, like, if you use the analogy of, if everyone wanted a Cadillac, should we be able to give everyone a Cadillac? And the answer is no, because it's wrong to give someone a Cadillac when there are children starving in Africa. And it's the same idea here, in my opinion. You can't provide frivolous things like birth control, which is basically enabling sexual gratification for mere hedonistic pleasure, when there are people who still are starving, they don't have food, they don't have shelter, they don't have money just to provide for basic physiological needs. So it's not right, in my opinion, to provide for something that is frivolous when there are people who need those resources more for physiological needs. One of the common counter-arguments is that birth control pills are used for more than just birth control, and they can be used for various different health conditions that women experience. And I understand that. But my contention isn't against birth control pills, whether healthcare should provide coverage for birth control pills. My contention is whether it should provide for birth control. Those are two different things. Birth control pills is a medicine. Birth control is preventing pregnancy. So if you have a medical condition which necessitates needing birth control pills, then that's fine. It should be covered under health insurance because it's something that the doctor prescribes for you for this health condition. But he's not prescribing it for you because of birth control. That's the issue here. You need to be able to separate out birth control pills from birth control. And it leads into other issues. So the other contention that Wilberg pointed out is that birth control is useful as a prophylactic against certain types of health conditions that can arise due to pregnancy. And my counter-argument to that was that, if you use that as a prophylactic, then don't we have to provide for prophylactics for everything else? Especially when the thing that you're doing is for pleasure. You're having sex for pleasure. So should we provide health insurance for bicycle helmets because people enjoy riding? I mean, it would be a prophylactic against people cracking their skulls open. Or more to the point, why not provide condoms to everyone for free then? That's my question to you guys. Should healthcare provide condoms to everyone? If everyone wants it, all you have to do is just, hey, I want these condoms given to me for free. Should we allow that? At what point do we draw the line? Obviously, there has to be a line drawn. It would be great if we could cover all these prophylactics, but, we have limited resources, obviously. There has to be a line somewhere. And then the last thing, which I actually do consider to be the most compelling reason, but it hasn't been proven to me yet. But if it is proven, I might be willing to change my position. And that's birth control can be used as a form of social engineering. Someone made the point that as soon as the government legitimized birth control, contraception, and abortions in the 1970s, I'm pretty sure abortion was legal before then, but okay, let's put that aside for a second. Once all that became mainstream or whatever, the crime rate went down because fewer women were having unwanted pregnancies, and most of those women who had unwanted pregnancies came from the lowest echelons of society, the poorest social groups. But, by pointing that out, by the way, you're indirectly saying that these undesirables are better off dead. So that's kind of a slippery slope there. But that's the contention, that birth control can be used as social engineering to reduce crime in the long run. Because less of these children will be born to single mothers, and less of them will be born in poverty. And then there is, therefore, a less preponderance to youth committing crimes, because let's face it, most crimes are committed at the lowest rungs of society, in poverty, impoverished conditions, elicits violence and crime. If that is true, then maybe I might be willing to change my position. The main problem is that I don't think it's ethical to force a business to do it. Now, if it were the government and there was a single-payer system, which Wilberg did point out, and I agree with her 100%, I do think that we should have socialized healthcare, where the government provides universal healthcare for everyone. Under those conditions, I would definitely be far more willing to force healthcare to pay for contraception. I would be more willing to do it under those conditions. But for a business, that's just like so iffy. You know, it's like kind of like, it just like reminds me of this situation where, you know, someone's coming up to you on the street saying, hey, can you buy me a pack of condoms because I feel like going out and fucking everyone in sight? And you're like standing like there going like, what the hell? Why should I have to pay for your desires, your sexual desires? It doesn't seem right to me, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. So post in the comments section. And if anyone has evidence that birth control can actually reduce crime in the long run, I would be interested in seeing that as well. Also, you know, check out WilbergWBWW's channel. Check out her videos. And that's it. This is Enigma Hood signing off.